Tonight on the HPT, we're at the Ameristar Casino Hotel in East Chicago, Indiana, where a field of 544 entrants generated a prize pool of more than $750,000. Going out in ninth place and playing in his first ever HPT main event was GURNEE, Illinois native Brian Thomas. In early position with 16 big blinds and pocket eights, Brian shoved all in and was called by Rami Lance and his ace queen. The flop, Jack 5 deuce. The turn card was the queen of clubs, giving Rami a bigger pair. Brian needed to hit an 8 on the river, but got the 9 of spades instead, and Brian was eliminated in ninth place, but he went home with over $15,000. Our 8th place finisher was fantasy football team manager and Warren, Michigan native Steve Clark. With action folded to Steve in the small blind, he looked down, saw pocket 9s, went all in, and was called by the Jack 9 of Daryl. And on the flop, he ran into the buzzsaw, 2 jacks and a 10. The turn card was the queen of diamonds, giving both players an open-ended straight draw. Steve needed to see an 8, a king, or a 9 to stay alive, but with the 6 of hearts on the river, Steve's dream of becoming an HPT champion was ended, and he walked away with just under $20,000. And finally, going out in 7th place was cash game specialist and Atlanta, Georgia native Isaiah Porter. Down to his last 4 big blinds, Isaiah called all in with ace tray against Rami and his ace 8. The flop, queen 9-5, no help for Isaiah. With the 10 of spades on the turn, Isaiah needed a tray on the river, and no such luck. The jack of spades hit, giving Rami a straight, but it didn't matter. Isaiah was eliminated in 7th place, and he left us with just over $23,000. Well, folks, we've got 6 players remaining and almost $500,000 to award, and it all starts right now. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the HPT. I'm James Larson alongside Kenneth James. This week, we broadcast from the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago, our 8th appearance at this property, and to date, we've given out over $15 million.
Yeah, it's a great setting for this event tonight. We're here on the banks of Lake Michigan. Always great to come home. Speaking of home, this is home turf for a lot of these players. 5 of the 6 finalists are Illinois natives. They're led by Ossama Estafanous. He's our chip leader, but followed closely behind by Daryl Ronconi.
Now, don't forget, Shawn Roberts is at this final table. His 25th cash, his 11th HPT final table. He may not have a lot of chips, but whenever Shawn's at a table, you know there's going to be a challenge.
Absolutely. What an impressive resume. This is going to be exciting to watch. Stick with us. It's a really great event.
All right, well, let's go ahead and meet the rest of our final table, and most importantly, take a look at that prize pool.
Looking at that prize pool up top, over $175,000. On down to 6th place, $27,841. Ossama Estafanous. He's our chip leader with 38 big blinds, but we can see it's all bunched up. Let's see how it plays out here on our HPT final table.
Blinds are 50,000, 100,000 with a 10K ante. This is our 8th event here at the Ameristar East Chicago. The HPT has awarded over $15 million in the Chicagoland area over the years. Great to be back here, and that's all because of the players making that prize pool what it is. So if you're listening to this and you follow the HPT, thank you for all of your support.
And I'd like to put an exclamation point on that remark, because a lot of the players come up to me and tell us how much they really enjoy our broadcast. And from James, my partner over there, my partner in crime, and myself, we'd like to thank you for your great support of our events and all the great comments you give us along the way.
All right, Rami's going to open things up here. Raises to $250,000 with his 6-5 on the button.
To give you folks at home some perspective, those gray chips, they're worth $5K a piece. The tan are $25,000 a piece, and those blue ones, those are the high society chips, $100,000 for each one of those blue chips.
Great to be back here in the Chicagoland area, and people ask me all the time, James, what's your favorite stop? And these stops are a lot like your children. You can't have a favorite. However, I can put the Ameristar Casino East Chicago definitely in my top 3. Always great to be back here because, again, old home week for us. We ran into a lot of great people. And, hey, the Chicago Cubs are just 20 miles away, so I like that,
too. And the Bears. I got to take in both a Bear game and a Cub game this trip and play some poker. Come out and join us. It's a lot of fun right here on the HBT, both on and off the felt.
All right, Ryan now with his ace-queen. He's in the small blind, 50,000 to make the call. He's going to raise it up to 250,000. And now Shawn Roberts wakes up with pocket jacks. This is Shawn's 24th HPT cash. That's second only to Craig Casino, his 10th TV table, second on the all-time money list with just over 523,000. And Ryan is going to make this call. So the pocket jacks going up against Ryan's ace-queen.
Yeah, it's going to be a 50-50. We go to the flop.
No, bad flop there for Shawn Roberts. A queen and two trays, and Ryan goes in the lead.
Yeah, Shawn now going to need a jack to survive and stay in this tournament, not to be on the turn. There's one card left. Can he pull the fish hook out of the pond? To the river we go.
He's going to leave us in 6th place.
And that river card for Shawn Roberts is not a good one. It's the 8 of diamonds. He's got 3 HPT victories, but the 4th is going to have to wait. He's our first elimination tonight, but not for nothing. He'll go home with $27,841. And when we come back, the action will continue here on the HPT from the Ameristar Casino in East Chicago. Welcome back to the HPT. I'm James Larson, alongside Ken and James here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel in East Chicago. A lot of money up top for your champion, $175,482. If you missed it, Shawn Roberts was our first casualty here at this final table. So now, Ken and James, we are down to our final 5.
Yep, and Rami now raising 2.5x with pocket 9s. Ossama, he was our chip leader. Ronconi is now taking a slight chip lead, but that may change quite quickly here.
Ossama, by the way, $500,000 in career earnings, and he placed 6th at our event here in September of 2017. And Rami, as you see with those pocket 9s, raises to $250,000. Ossama makes the call. We're heads up to the flop, and it comes out 9-8-6. That's Yahtzee there for Rami.
Yeah, it sure is, but not a lot happening for Ossama, so I expect this to be a nice size value bet. Actually makes a weak lead. 2 blue chips, that's 200,000. Only a third of the size of the pot. Is Ossama going to fish for an ace or a queen on the turn? Make some kind of play, or is he going to find the muck here, James?
Well, I think for 200,000 chips with the ace queen, he probably will make this call. Well, he's not going to make the call. He's actually going to raise. He's going to raise it up to 400,000. So what do you want Rami to do here, Ken and James?
Well, with a wet board like this, both straight and flushing type of a board, I'd like to see Rami re-raise and make a definitive re-raise to put his opponent to a decision.
And he's going to do just that, the raise up to 850,000. So as you can see by the graphic, another 450,000 for Ossama to make this call. Pot close here to 2 million chips early on as we broadcast from the Ameristar Casino Hotel, East Chicago, right here on the HPT. James and Kenna with you.
I'm not sure what's going through Osama's mind here.
Yeah, he's definitely thinking about this, thinking about making this call, or possibly will he come over the top, and if he does, he's going to find himself in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's just staging here, trying to make it look like he's got a big hand when he actually doesn't, and I think he's going to rightly find the muck. Since you have no pair, no draw, the logical thing to do when you've been bet into and raised is muck your hand, and that's what he does.
All right, Rami is going to win that hand, and Rami deserves to win at least one hand because today is a very special day for Rami.
Yeah?
It's his 39th birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, Rami, we hope you enjoy your special day. We got that out there. You won your hand. Now, the rest of the players probably agree. It's any man's game now. 5 players remain. Only one can be our HPT champion and go home with $175,482. And, Kenna, we have seen these prize pools swell up here in the Chicagoland area. And once again, no surprise, 544 entries.
and almost just over $783,000.
Fantastic. Poker is alive and well, James, here in East Chicago.
Rami's going to raise to $250,000 with his 10-8. Action now over to Ryan. Ryan's 29 years old from Denver, Colorado.
You know, Rami's on the button here, so I think this is just a blind steal. Ryan just flatting in the small blind. I prefer on these short-handed tables when you're out of position and you're way ahead of your opponent's range, rather, to 3-bet and take the lead, but he elects to just call. Let's see how it works out.
All right, the flop is ace-6 deuce, couple of hearts, so Ryan gets the best of it, pairing his ace. Ryan checks, as does Ossama. Now over to Rami. And Rami's reaching for chips.
If you're going to slow play it, you definitely want to check to the raiser and let him continue to bet. That way you kind of defensive trap, right? If he does have the bigger ace, you minimize your loss. And if he doesn't and he's bluffing, you maximize your value.
The bet by Rami, $425,000.
Doesn't make any sense for Ryan to raise now. I would just flat once again. Oh,
and now Ryan's going to raise all in. That'll get Ossama out very quickly. Probably the same for Rami, so Ryan's going to win that hand.
I guess Ryan wants to protect against any potential heart flush draws, which is why he raises there. It makes sense.
Ryan told us, this 29-year-old, his plans for the cash. He's thinking about buying a new car. That's his plans for the cash. So,
what kind of car?
Well, it depends. Fifth place, you're $35,000. First place, you can maybe think about a Tesla, but otherwise maybe a Nissan Altima if you get the minimum cash with the remaining 5 here.
First place, a Tesla. I think you can do a lot more than a Tesla with 175.
Daryl Ronconi is going to raise this to $300,000. First time we've seen him tonight enter the pot here at this HPT final table. Action over to Ossama, who's just having a hard time picking up any traction here so far at this final table. He's going to make the call with his queen 10.
Well, his timing has just been off a little bit, and also his hand range is a little bit behind his opponent here.
All right, good flop for Daryl. Flops 2 pair, comes out ace, jack, 7, 3 spades. You see Ossama with the lone spade out of the 2, and he's going to lead out here and make a bet of $700,000. So what do you do with Daryl? You see 3 spades out there. You pretty much flop the works, but you don't have any spades in your hand.
Well, at this point, I like to, play conservative on the flop and then lay the hammer down on the turn. So I would just flat here.
You're not worried about the spades? You're not worried about another spade coming on the board?
No, I don't play and worry. So, if it comes, it comes. But I just would like to preserve my stack size and flat here.
Well, Daryl's going to raise all in now.
Again, boy, I'm like 5 for 5, guessing the wrong action here.
Well, and I like Daryl's play here. I'm on the other side of that coin where I want to get it over with here, I guess. I see the 3 spades out there, and Daryl's going to show the winning hand and take down that pot. And when we come back, the HPT will continue here from East Chicago at the Ameristar Casino. We'll be right back after these words.
King of spades you had?
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to the HPT. I'm James Larson alongside Kenneth James here at East Chicago. You can see Daryl Ronconi. He's up top. This is his 5th HPT cash, 3rd appearance at a TV table. He finished 4th in Gary. That was back in 2013, 5th in St. Louis in 2014. And he's earned about $86,000 with the HPT coming into today's table.
I look at the prize pool, James, and it still amazes me.
I know.
The difference between 5th place, the next player out, and 1st place, over $140,000.
It's crazy. And again, 544 entries, just over 783,000. I was back on the HPT back in 2012 and 2013 when this thing started to grow, and it's just awesome to see. Heads up, we go to the flop. Comes out 10-6-4. Daryl gets the best of this one. We were just talking about Daryl. He's going to check.
Daryl Ronconi. He's got top pair and checks it. Interestingly enough.
Even though Ryan, the 29-year-old from Denver, is going to make a bet $550,000. And it looks like we may see a check raise here, my friend.
Ah, that's what his plan was.
It's the old check raise.
Passive aggressive. He's got a fistful of blue chips. Those are 100,000 apiece, remember? And there they go.
Raising it up here. Daryl's now going to raise to 1.2 million. Ryan just holding the king queen there. We'll see what he decides to do. A pot growing of 2.6 million chips.
I really like Daryl's raise size here, too. Just a little more than double. You like to say, you know, I like to know where I'm at. This is the type of raise that lets him do that, because if his opponent moves all in here, he knows that his 10 is no good. And if he calls or folds, obviously he finds out that he has the best hand. Really puts Ryan in a tough spot. He's now looking, can I call for value and try and pull off a king or a queen? He's got to call 650 to win about 3.2 million.
Well, he's thinking about this now. He's moving his chips around.
It's about 6 to 1. 1 out of 6 is about a 17% chance. And there's only a 12% chance for him to hit a king or a queen on the next card. So that's a nice disciplined fold by Ryan.
Daryl's going to win the pot. Now, we talked about his HPT success, but he also has 3 WSOP final tables. And he works in investments is what he does. So a good guy to be, you know, run into some money. He'll know exactly what to do with it. How you doing, folks? James Larson alongside Ken and James here in East Chicago, Indiana. Kenny, you grew up not too far away from here.
That's right. Yep. Born in Chicago, grew up in Ravenswood, a suburb, Lincoln Park area. But I wasn't playing poker at that time, not with these guys here. Look at this.
Yeah,
now.
we're going to see some fireworks here. So Daryl raises up the pot with ace-queen, raises to 400,000. Now Jim comes over the top with pocket queens. Ryan's going to get out of the way. And Daryl says, I make the call. I've got an ace, and I've got a queen. And Daryl's going to see the pocket queens of Jim. And he's not going to like that. Jim's from Rockford, Illinois. Of course, home of the band Cheap Trick. $680,000 in career earnings, and he's hoping to double up here and keep his tournament hopes alive and his championship hopes alive here in East Chicago. We go to the flop. It's a king and 2 jacks.
Yeah, Daryl still needing an ace or a 10 now, or running hearts to wrestle this pot away.
Turn card is the tray of diamonds, so good news here for Jim. One more street to go for his double up.
Ossama looking on with interest because he knows.
And it's the 6 of clubs. So Jim is going to win that hand, a pot of just over 2.5 million chips. Now, Jim told us before the final table his plans for the cash. He's another one of these guys that's going to invest more in the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency.
The virtual world is upon us.
I remember Jim back in 2007, Majestic Star, just a couple miles from here. He finished second place. Ossama wakes up with pocket 8s. He's going to go all in. And now over to Daryl, who re-raises over the top of pocket kings.
Pairs are cheap here on the final table of the HPT.
Rami gets out of the way, as does Ryan, and Ossama is not going to like this as he stands up. He gets dealt a pocket pair. The odds are 1 in 16. And now his opponent, well, he picks up a pocket pair as well. But unfortunately for Ossama, he's going up against kings.
To the flop we go.
And it comes out ace, queen, deuce, couple of clubs. And as you can see, Daryl still in the lead. Ossama doesn't like this, but 2 cards to go. Let's go to the turn. It's the queen of spades. Yeah, Ossama will need one of the remaining 8s. Otherwise, he will be eliminated. We go to the river card, and it's the deuce of diamonds. Daryl's going to win the pot of almost 1.6 million chips, and that'll do it for Ossama, but not for nothing. A nice little payday here on the HPT. 5th place money, $35,874. And when we come back, our final 4 will continue battle here on the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. I'm James Larson alongside Kenneth James. And as you can see, Daryl Ronconi is our chip leader as we have 4 players remaining. And you look at that 4th place money, just under $50,000, man. It's a nice payday. Up top, of course,
sure is.
even better, $175,482.
Well, this is a tough spot here now with King Queen on the button facing Daryl's raise. Ooh, he finds the muck. A very disciplined play. Not choosing the hand, but the position, the chip position, and he gets out of the way.
And now the birthday boy here, Rami, looks at pocket tens. You can't knock somebody out on their birthday, can you, Kenna?
Absolutely. Take their birthday present and their prize money.
Right, as you can see here, Daryl, $1.4 million to make this call, and I think that's what you're going to see him do. He's our chip leader. Things are rolling for him. He wants to knock out another player because that means he'll be even closer to an HPT championship, and the chips are rolling here.
Yeah, and there's Roz, our dealer. She's great, by the way.
Always does a great job. We see her when we're here in East Chicago at every event. And maybe not so fast. Maybe Daryl's, he's
rethinking it. Yeah.
1.4 mil.
This would be incredible to find a fold here. It's
790 total.
He's asking the dealer an exact number of what he has to put in the middle to complete this call.
It's just over 10 big blinds. I think we're four-handed here. This would be an incorrect fold if he folded. So maybe he's just reluctant to let go of these precious 100K blue chips, but he's got to release them into the middle and just take it.
Yeah, and he's going to do just that, Kenna. Daryl is going to make the call. Ace-Queen going up against the pocket tens of Rami. As you can see, Rami all in for his tournament life, but he is in the lead with his pocket pair.
To the flop we go.
And the flop is 2 sixes and a king. So Rami's still with the best of it here.
He's the only one sitting down, too.
Everybody else is standing. We go to the turn card now. It's the 8 of clubs. Another good street for Rami. Just one more to go for him to double up and take down this pot of 3.7 million chips. To the river we go. It's the 7 of clubs. So Rami, he's cool.
Yeah.
He's sitting down.
Cool.
He knew it all along. Come on, I'm the one with the pair here.
Under pressure. A lot on the line. You got to have that attitude. I like it. He did really well.
A little dent there to Daryl Ronconi, but you said before the hand about 9 or 10 big blinds. So, maybe worth the risk to try to knock out a player, but it didn't work out the way Daryl wanted to. But, hey, the cards continue here on the HPT as we broadcast from the Ameristar Casino Hotel here in East Chicago. By the way, our first event, the opening $350 tournament we had here, had over 1,200 entries. And one more time, I just want to thank all of our players for showing up and making this such a successful week here on the HPT.
Yeah, and a lot of satellites run along the way, so giving players an opportunity to come in, get into one of our main events for as little as $100, sometimes even a free roll. Our great tournament director, Jeremy Smith, even ran a free roll tournament. You didn't even have to pay any money to get in to try and win your seat into this event. He's fantastic.
All right, the flop is ace, king, 7, couple of spades. So the baby pair for Ryan still in the lead. Here is pocket 4s. As you can see, Daryl with a couple of big overs that he could hit, as well as a jack for Broadway. The bet $225 from Ryan, and Daryl makes the call. He's got a few outs, obviously, as you can see. And that happens to be one of those outs. That's the jack of diamonds to complete Daryl's Broadway.
Yeah, well, Ryan, I'm sure, is going to shut down now and check this. This should be a check bet fold. And there's the check. Now, Daryl actually could check it back
check here, yeah.
But with that flush draw out there in spades, he decides to go ahead and protect his equity and make the bet. Ryan is going to find the muck and we'll be on to the next hand.
Want to thank everybody for joining us tonight here on the HPT, and want to give a shout-out to one of our affiliates here in the Chicagoland area. NBC Sports Chicago has been a partner of the HPT for many, many years, and I want to thank the gang over there, the staff, even the folks in Master Control that are listening to us right now. Thank you for all your support in growing our brand, the HPT, on such an awesome, awesome network. I watch it back in Iowa from this very channel here, NBC Sports Chicago. We appreciate everything you do. All right, Rami's going to raise it up here to $300,000 with his ace-10. Action folded around to Daryl, and Daryl's in the big blind defending. We go to the flop heads up. And the flop comes out queen, 9-5. They're all clubs. Both players holding a club in their hand, but Rami's got the best as far as that goes.
And he's got the nut flush. Daryl with the jack of clubs and a gut shot straight. But Rami also had the lead in the betting, so he goes ahead and continues. Daryl with a really quick call. To the turn we go.
Turn card is the 10 of diamonds, so Daryl makes his straight.
How does he do it, ladies and gentlemen?
You know, that's how you win tournaments, is you got to play well and you got to run well and you got to catch cards like that on the turn, the 10 of diamonds. Now, Daryl is going to check because he knows he has a club as a backup, but what he doesn't know is his backup club isn't good enough.
Now, I think, I think Rami just moved all in.
Well, Rami bet 1 million chips. And now Daryl says all in and a quick call. Yeah, the bet was 1 million.
Okay.
Daryl says I'm going to raise all in. Yeah. And look at this. The river card, no club. It's the 4 of spades. And just like that,
it was like a home run, leaving the park faster than a goose swimming across the English Channel.
So Rami on his 39th birthday will go home with $49,365. Welcome back to the HPT as we broadcast from the Ameristar Casino Hotel here in East Chicago. 3 players remain, only one can be our newest HPT champion. Ryan's going to fold on the button. Over to the blinds we go, and Daryl kind of peeks over at Jim's chips there, and
I'm all in.
Looks like he's going to put Jim all in. He's got 10 tray of hearts.
All right, Ryan folds here over to Daryl on the small blind. He's going to move all in.
Well, not the best time to do that because Jim's got a hand. He's got pocket jacks. He'll make the call. Daryl will see the bad news as Daryl stands up.
All in with 10 of hearts, 3 of hearts. Jim makes
You always have my hand.
Kind of gives him a little pat there on the arm and said, well, I thought I would just, take care of you here, but it's going to be a little tougher here with Jim with a much better hand. Pocket pair going up against the 10 tray of Daryl. We go to the flop, and a jack right there in the middle comes out jack 5 tray. So Jim improves his hand here to a set of jacks.
Yeah, only a 1% chance for Daryl, and now that's going to turn to 0. And Jim is going to double up and find his way back into this tournament. Really interesting. We get down to the final here. These guys have made this incredible journey, multiple days. You're playing for all this money. And even now, the pressure, look at the difference between third and first. Over $100,000 just sitting between you and 2 more places.
And you talk about money. We had 544 entries. Total prize pool, $783,360. Once again, thank you to everybody for showing up and supporting this HPT main event here in East Chicago, Indiana at the Ameristar Casino Hotel. And Daryl right back to business here, bounces back with King Queen, raises to $300,000. And a recently doubled up Jim has got King 9 of clubs and $240,000 for him to make the call. I said it before, 50 years old. He's from Rockford, Illinois. Of course, home of the band Cheap Trick. $680,000 in career earnings. I'll have to ask him after the show if he's ever hung out with the guys.
Well, he's now grabbing some blues as if he's going to call. If you've just joined us, those blue chips, $100,000 apiece. The tan are $25,000. He's re-raised. Maybe after seeing what Daryl did that last hand with 10-3, he's saying, hey, stop stealing. I'm going to try and re-steal from the small blind here. I like this play. Really putting Daryl to a decision here, but Daryl has the button, he has the chip lead, and he has the hand lead, as we can see, so I expect him to defend here.
Daryl from Naperville, Illinois, actually grew up in Sarasota, Florida. $1.4 million in career earnings.
Yeah, so he's no slouch. Maybe he's considering re-raising, but I think the correct play here is to call, and that's exactly what he does. We're going to go to the flop, playing for a $1.8 million pot, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see the flop.
All right, as Daryl stacking his chips over there, and look at this flop, King 5-5. So this is going to be trouble here for Jim, as his kicker would play here the 9 of clubs, and right now Daryl has the best of it. Kings and 5s with his queen kicker.
Yeah, this is doesn't look to bode well for Jim. And people at home might be thinking, well, why doesn't Daryl raise? Well, when the donkeys are pushing, don't do the pulling.
All right, 7 of spades on the turn. Nothing changes there. Action still on Jim, and he could get real frisky here on one of these streets, but it looks like he's just going to make a bet, not an all-in wager.
How do you like how Daryl's acting like he doesn't know what's going on, you know?
Right, kind of looking around for his camera.
Yeah. Where's my chips? I'm
where's my
fumbling
chips? Okay, it looks like a 1 million chip bet here. And Daryl, I like it. He's just going to make the call. And, you know, both players at this point probably think they have the best hand.
Yeah. You know, we're going to find out who's the donkey here in real life, because I just said don't do the pulling when the donkeys are pushing. I think the donkey's the one that's pulling, right?
I think you might be right there.
Pushing or pulling, I don't know. This is going to be
And it's going to go check, and Daryl's going to win this pot.
How does Daryl let him get off the hook without making a value bet on the river there?
Almost $5.5 million in the middle there.
Daryl's going to take it down with the higher kick.
How does Jim not go broke there?
Well, because Daryl doesn't make a river bet and never raised on either of the previous streets. I think that's a major misstep.
Because I don't think Jim was going anywhere. Action continues, 3-handed here from the Ameristar Casino Hotel, East Chicago. Next elimination will go home with just over $71,000. You've noticed that Ryan is just kind of taking a back seat to these two, and why not? Let them battle it out. I'll win an extra $38,000 just for hanging out here.
Yeah, and he hasn't really had the hands to get involved with, really, but that hasn't stopped these two as Daryl raises it up once again, a battle of blinds.
And look at this. Jim picks up the exact same hand he had last hand, King 9 of clubs.
Well, maybe I can improve on it this time.
Right, yeah,
He's definitely in a better position. He's got position this time and a better hand.
All right, the flop, Jack 10-8, couple of hearts.
Oh, my. Did he just make another straight?
Look at that. Daryl flops a straight.
His new nickname is Daryl the Straight Ronconi.
And look at this, $400,000. Jim gets him in the middle, and Daryl says, "Thank you, sir. I will make that call." And Jim's going to see the bad news here.
Yeah.
As his hopes of an HPT championship are slowly going away here. 2 streets to go. You see the percentages, 87-12. Let's go to that turn card. It's the Ace of Hearts.
No help on the turn for Jim. He's going to need one of the 3 remaining queens to wrestle this pot away.
All right, let's go to the river card. And the river card is the Jack of Spades, so that'll do it for Jim. He has been eliminated, going out with just over $71,000. And now when we come back from this quick commercial break, it's time to play Heads Up Poker right here on the HPT. Hi, folks. Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson alongside Kenneth James. We started with over 540 entries, and now we are down to our final 2.
Yeah, it's Daryl Ronconi. He's the chip leader as we get into heads up against Ryan Kulovitz. He's got about a little bit more than a 2-to-1 edge, but as you know, James, anything can happen in heads up poker.
Heads up chip count. Daryl on top with about 71% of the chips in play. You know this is my favorite part of the show.
Absolutely.
I love Heads Up Poker because I really like to learn by watching these players play the chess game, the heads-up match. It's just fun for me. And, we can all get a little better when it comes to heads-up poker because it's not easy.
No, it's a mental game that's played out physically across the felt.
All right, Daryl's going to take down the first pot of heads-up. It's important to win that first one. You can kind of push your chest out a little bit, and you get that momentum going for you.
Get a little bit of momentum. How about that look of our beautiful HPT final table there? And you see the cash sitting in the middle that these players are playing for, along with that championship watch.
Yeah, we've got watches, and we asked our players, what's something you want to go home with? And the consensus was, we've got bracelets from other tours. Let's do a watch. So I kind of like it myself. Ryan's going to raise it up to $350,000. He's hoping to go home with that watch. But in his way right now, Daryl Ronconi is going to make the call.
I think he's calling a little wide here with the old 10-4, James. But let's see what the flop brings.
Jack right there in the window comes out Queen, Jack, 6. So Ryan with the best of it, pairing his Jack. Daryl's going to check over to Ryan.
Oh, Ryan checks it back. He's managing pot control. That's not bad. Oh, you can also elicit bluffs like this from your opponent on the turn when you check back a marginal hand.
5 of hearts is the turn card. Daryl reaching for chips now with really nothing there. He's going to bet $450,000.
And that's the best time to bluff, James, when you have absolutely nothing. Ryan now would be smart. He's set the trap to just go ahead and, again, show pot control and call with his marginal second pair, and he does.
All right, let's go to that river card, a pot of just over $1.6 million. And the 4 of spades comes on the river. So Daryl pairs his 4, but he's going to check. Ryan, as you can see, has the check mark. He can't lose unless he folds his hand.
He actually lost a little bit by having that 4 come off because that now Daryl has showdown value. He's not going to bluff at it. So had nothing come, Daryl might have fired a second barrel bluff there. But still a nicely played hand by Ryan and a nice pot. Gets him a little bit closer.
All right, the action continues. Blinds are 60,000, 120,000 with a 15K ante. Our levels are 60 minutes, but when it gets heads up, we go down to 30-minute levels, and that's where we're at right now. Daryl's got a big hand here. Looks down at King Queen. He's going to raise it up to 360,000.
Yeah, that's a 3x raise. But look at this. Ryan looking down, and I believe that was ace-queen he pinched
I saw
out
an
of
ace
there.
in there. Yep,
Oh,
ace-jack. I saw the ace. Ace-jack of hearts. He makes the call. So a lot of Broadway cards out there as we go to the flop, and it comes out king 9-4, couple of hearts. Good flop for Daryl, and really a good flop for Ryan with the hearts.
Yeah, a little bit of something for everybody here. Interesting line Ryan is taking in this hand. He's taking the conservative route, being out of position, just flatting rather than 3-betting. Daryl now flopping top pair. The way Ryan is playing, it looks like he wants to lengthen this match out, and just call and not put a lot of gamble in pre-flop.
Turn card now is the ace of clubs, so Ryan pairs his ace. You see the percentages there. Ryan's got the flush draw, and he's got the made hand right now with his pair of aces against Daryl's kings.
Daryl bets, looks like 800,000. So it's interesting, James, to see these players have 2 different strategy approaches. You see, even though the danger card comes off, Daryl still fires when his opponent shows weakness, where Ryan is taking a more conservative approach. It's interesting, these different styles. It's a more aggressive style versus a more possum, passive, trapping style by Ryan. It's going to be interesting to see how this match plays out over the long run as we go to the river.
River card is the queen of clubs, so kings up for Daryl.
This is the problem when you do play passively. A lot of times you allow cards to come off the deck and peel off that make your best hand turn into the worst hand. That's some of the dilemma that these players who take this style and let cards come off have to face. And it takes an emotionally strong person to have to deal with it, I got to tell you, because he went from best to worst to best to worst. Best pre-flop, worse on the flop, best on the turn, worse on the river. He pays it off.
And he kind of has to make that call, but the pot of $6.2 million going to Daryl Ronconi as he continues his quest for an HPT title here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago. We'll be right back after these words. Welcome back to the HPT. Heads Up Poker continues. And the chip counts there a little lopsided. Daryl with a huge lead here as we continue Heads Up. James Larson, my name, alongside Ken and James. Great to be back in the booth with you. Anytime we're at the Ameristar Casino here in East Chicago, it's kind of like my home away from home.
Look at this now. Ryan pinching out the boys. 2 kings.
All right, so Ryan thinking, all right, this is my chance to get back into this, but my opponent folds. That's not the way this is supposed to work.
Sometimes, you know, you got to not only have a good hand, you need to have your opponent have a good hand, and you have a better hand.
Yeah, a better hand, exactly. All right, you see the cash out there. You see the watch. The blind's $80,160 with a $20K ante.
Ryan at a 4-1 chip disadvantage, but a really good player. You know, a lot can happen. The swings can happen really big in no limit. He's in no means out of this.
All right, Ryan is going to make the call after Daryl raises up to $400,000. Daryl has an ace. Ryan has a king. To the flop we go. And the flop, an 8 and 2 4s, so a great flop there for Daryl. 3 of a kind. Ryan checks over to Mr. Ronconi, and he's going to bet $400,000. You see Ryan pairs his 8 there for 2 pair, 8 and 4s.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Ryan not to lose a significant amount, if not all the rest of his chips in this hand.
And now he's going to raise up to $1 million. What do you want Daryl to do here, Mr. Poker Coach?
I like just flatting here. But he can move in if he thinks his opponent is on the flush draw. It's hard to determine that, you know. Either way is fine, whatever line he wants to take, call or re-raising.
All right, well, Daryl makes the call. And that pot getting pretty big there. 2.8 million chips. Turn card now is the 5 of hearts. Now does Ryan make a big bet here?
I think Ryan at this point, it looks like he's committed to the hand.
I kind of thought it. He's all in, and Daryl says, okay, sir, let's do it. We flip over the cards, and Ryan's going to see the bad news. 3 of a kind for Daryl. Ryan just with his 8s and 4s. It all comes down to the river card. 1 card to go for all the marbles, for the title, for the cash. And the river card is the 10 of clubs. And Daryl Ronconi is your new HPT champion. He'll take home $175,482. But congratulations to Ryan. A nice payday for second place. Just over $108,000.
Yeah, James, over $100,000 for the second place finish for Ryan Kulovitz. A great performance. A little bit cold decked at the end. But you got to hand it to Daryl Ronconi taking home this championship. What a fantastic finish to another great HPT event.
Let's see what our second place finisher has to say. He's joined with Jeremy Smith, our tournament director.
First major tournament like this, $1,650 buy-in, still walking away with just over $108,000 in cash. What's your plans for the money?
I need a new car and pay some bills and take care of some stuff.
What kind of car are you thinking about? $108,000?
Not just something that's better than what I got right now, so I'm happy about that.
Good. Any future HPTs maybe planned for you? Any other tournaments?
Yeah, I'm sure when I'm able to play them, I will get around to it.
All right, there we have it. Our second place finisher, Ryan Kulovitz. Let's give him a round of applause. Nice job, Ryan.
Once again, congratulations to Ryan going out in second place. But in poker, there can only be one champion.
Yeah, and that's tonight, Daryl Ronconi taking home over $170,000. Congratulations.
Let's see what Daryl has to say. He's tableside with our tournament director, Jeremy Smith.
Tell me about this final table here.
It was crazy, I got to tell you. I started as the chip leader and kind of cruised along in the beginning of the tournament, but then things started going awry, and I think I doubled up people 7 different times and got all the way down to 1 million, but worked my way back up and kind of gritted it out, and I'm ecstatic. This was an incredible experience, and it was a fun time. But boy, it was a roller coaster for me.
Absolutely. You have a 4th and a 5th at an HPT final table before. First place this time, just over $175,000 in cash. What's your plans for the money?
Well, I'm going to go on a trip with my wife and put it in the bank and play some more poker and invest it. And so nothing too exciting, but we're going to go on a trip. So we'll go around and enjoy the money.
Wow, Daryl, what a great plan. It kind of sounds like he's got a lot of balance in his life.
Very important. You know, investing first, poker second, and a little trip to the loo, my darling, for a little bit of fun.
All right, that's all the time we have on this week's show. We're so glad you joined us from the Ameristar Casino Hotel here in East Chicago. Now, if you're on your couch right now thinking, well, hey, I can play with these knuckleheads, I can win this cash, why not give it a shot? Log on to hptpoker.com, find an event that will work for you, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. For Ken and James, I'm James Larson, and we'll see you next time right here on the HPT.